Now let's talk about. I hate it when people don't. They work on stuff and take this with a grain of salt because I don't do everything perfectly or do it exactly right. But I hate it when people weld things to the frame that they shouldn't weld to the frame. This was a toolbox tray. Let's talk about that toolbox. There was a toolbox that sat in there. Oh yeah, they had a toolbox in here, and I think the person that owned it last had it. I don't think it was just the fire department had it, but maybe they did. I don't think they did. I think they had a toolbox. They had a toolbox in here, and he said, "Oh, you keep that rack." I'm like, "No, I don't want that rack there because what's supposed to be there is, and two of the bolts are right there, and two would be right there. That's where the spare tire carrier goes." I try to be down here where you can see, but that's where the spare tire goes. And they welded this to here. So I'm trying to think of the best way that I'm going to take this off. And then they welded this, and this plate I think is bolted on, which is good. I think it's bolted on, and we can take, oh actually it's welded to the right. So we might get a new bottom plate for this. Then most people say, ah, nah. And so that should be just bolted on. But where that's welded, I think what I'm going to have to do is I don't want to cut into the frame. And obviously they freaking did this crap. And that's not how you should do it. It should have been bolted in. If they were having trouble with it staying still, they should have done something as far as that was concerned, lock nuts, whatever. But not frigging welding it to the frame. I hate that. People do that with hitches too, and I friggin' absolutely appall that because it was stuff's designed to be bolted on, not friggin' welded on, and then they weld it on. Not to be confused with things that are supposed to be welded and bolted, which they do that too. But I'll probably have to cut this thing somewhere in here or something, because I don't want to cut into the frame, try to cut that weld and then sand it. I don't want to compromise the frame in any way. So I'll probably have to do that, and then my spare tire will go back in here. This should unbolt. This one will unbolt, but I'm probably going to cut it. I might even cut it up here if it's not stuck to the frame here, other than maybe some rust in between. I'll just do that. They welded both sides of that. And then they welded the bolt right in here like that, and that was just a stupid frig up type thing. And people just don't think it's the quick and easy way. Jeez, crow, you could have just friggin' put a new bolt in there. Come on. Anyway, that's a pet peeve of mine when someone does something permanent like that. That kind of permanently screws up. When you do something to get back home or something like that, and then you're just gonna, take that piece off. If it's not permanent, or if the piece that you welded it to has got to come off too, then that's a whole different story. But anyways, that's just one of my pet peeves. I don't think there's too many things in here like that on this truck. There are a few things here and there that are going to be changed. While we're on the subject, they put in a license plate bracket. They had the wrong cover on this license plate bracket that didn't have the screws and stuff. They had the clip-on one, only it wasn't staying, and that's probably why it wasn't staying, is because it was the wrong one and the lip wasn't holding it, whatever. So I put that on there temporary for now. This light is going to come off here. What I don't like is they spliced into the electrical system here and messed with the Packard connectors and didn't put a Packard connector on this. Eventually we're going to put a license plate light and everything, and we're going to do Packard connectors, but that will suffice for now. Maybe won't do it until after we're inspected, although technically whether or not you have to have that for inspection is a whole nother thing, because they didn't have them back in the day. And then the whole thing with reverse lights, we're going to be putting reverse lights on this. We're going to do that probably the right way. and I'll explain to you about that later, and it takes some time and effort to do it. So I eventually want to put a hitch on this, a regular receiver hitch type on it. We got to figure that out so it's done correctly. There may be some holes that have to be drilled in the frame. That doesn't exactly thrill me, but what we're not doing is welding a plate to the frame and freaking all that crap and making something that shouldn't be.